It's gonna be some stuff you're gonna see that's gonna make it hard to smile in the future.
So just because it wasn't, I'm doing the same thing.
Simultaneously claim you was kings and masters of technology and the white man stole it, and yet at the same time be the most degenerate people on the planet.
Like builder's inspector, I'm calling, reporting that we have rats in this stuff housed. That way you build up a report, so they already know when you go in front of a judge, he try to say you, John's trying to say that you tore up his shit. John, you already got to report it, that you've been reporting about these.
JP, if you ever sat down,
it's not my shit. I don't give a damn.
And put your mind to good use and a productive.
That is good use. That's the fight back. That's tenant.
And accomplish something and be a man.
I did accomplish something. You put me all on the street. You don't give a damn about me being on the streets. So I don't give a damn. That ain't my shit. So if you put me out your house, you gonna have hell to pay.
70% of black people
is a bitch.
Dislike white people, right? 60-70% of y'all. What percentage act like you do with this?
All of
destroy the place instead of just, being a man and owning up to your failures.
It's well over 50% of them that do, because look at Michigan, Dearborn, and look at all the countries that these particular mindsets emerge.
Well, no, I mean American blacks, not the light bulb head.
American blacks, I'll be honest, American blacks, I think there might be some kind of a DNA transference or some shit going on, because I haven't seen any real difference between an American black behaving this way than a Zimbabwean black or a Somali black.
I had to give it to JP. He did a wonderful job, a masterful job, I would say, describing what it's like renting to black people. They're very vindictive, destructive by nature. They're renting when they run into hard times. They can't face accountability. They have to go right into destroy mode. And here's JP from CT's channel earlier today.
60-70% of black people
is a bitch.
Dislike white people, right? 60-70% of y'all. What percentage act like you do with this?
All of.
And again, JP may be exaggerating. He comes on these panels for fun, but he is speaking somewhat truthfully. He's going into a lot of detail that I've seen many tenants do over the years.
Destroy the place instead of just, being a man and owning up to your failures.
It's well over 50% of them that do, because look at Michigan, Dearborn, and look at all the countries that these particular mindsets emerge.
Well, no, I mean American blacks, not the light bulb head.
American blacks, I'll be honest, American blacks, I think there might be some kind of a DNA transference or some shit going on, because I haven't seen any real difference between an American black behaving this way than a Zimbabwean.
One of the things about this show, CT really didn't want to get off into the race thing. He wanted to determine the share property. But again, you're not going to find many white people that would get up and express these kind of thoughts about destroying someone else's property. So it does become a black or a third world thing. And JP is the black representative to tell us how the black mind works as it relates to not accepting responsibility and destroying someone else's property in the process.
Black or a Somali black or first of all, CT, you asked the question months ago, why aren't black people, selling in certain industries, or they don't have their own industries, or sorry, you said another thing. But this is why. I mean, there's a reason why certain countries in the world are just shithole countries.
So JP represents black people.
And so again, this is a guy speaking up, Keon. He's saying, well, what are you trying to say? JP represents black people, because JP has said all black people behave this way. JP and Keon were just laughing along early on, and now Keon wants to back away from being associated with JP. But it doesn't matter if he is or is not associated with JP in his own mind. People are looking at these people, particularly someone like Keon with long tarantula-like hairstyles, and they're coming to the same conclusion as JP saying.
JP represents a marker in which you could say a microcosm of what certain ethnotypes behave, and this isn't just for JP. There's plenty of others that I can mention that are doing exactly the same. But this is a typical behavior of many third worlders. This is third world behavior.
And that's right, and blacks are third world. They were brought here from the third world, and one could reasonably say they have not adjusted or acclimated to these first world requirements and the demands of the first world.
And third world behavior isn't restricted just to the people from the third world. This is
Well, the white Egyptians did the black people stuff like that.
behave as third worlders. This is why you are not excelling and you're not masters of industries, and you're not, there are no black steel corporations or car manufacturers or aeroplane manufacturers, or I guarantee you it won't be a black company that will be at the forefront of the next evolutionary leap in humanity. They're not the ones who are going to come up. It's not going to be a company from Zimbabwe that's going to come up with the next AI.
I want to hear JP tell me about how the Sumerians snatched the plumbing out of the pyramid.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. These guys think everybody stole from the Africans.
Everybody does this.
This is how the Africans actually behave when it comes to civilized world.
That's why they can't keep a water pump in Africa. They keep stealing the bucket plumb.
That's what it is. They keep stealing all the copper. They
kept stealing. They kept tearing down the pyramids because it wasn't theirs, right?
That's what it was.
So just because it wasn't, I'm doing the same thing.
Simultaneously claim you was kings and masters of technology and the white man stole it, and yet at the same time be the most degenerate people on the planet. You can't pull both of these things off.
You imagine John's face though after he tried to be snarky and try to kick me out of his house, and he finally get me up out of there, right? And he go to his house. He got to come out of 100-some grand, way more. He got to pay way more for that crib than what the crib is.
And this is an interesting point that JP is making. He's definitely right, and a lot of blacks do this. But what they don't understand, and I've covered this on the channel, is the unseen cost. The unseen cost to other tenants who are looking for a place to live, who may be honest, and now they jaded the landlord's point of view toward these tenants. And furthermore, as JP says, the place may be unrentable. So that further constricts supply, which makes the prices go up, and so it shows you that these blacks are their own worst enemies.
Actually worth, right? He wanted to pay that if he want to rent, so he ain't gonna rent no time soon. So he's steady losing money. At least you had a promise to a note saying I was gonna promise to pay you. As long as I owe you, you never broke. But since you want to kick me out and be funny, and you don't care about my life and me being on the street, you think I'm gonna take care of you, make your house look all superb? And hell no, you wanna feel my pain of being in the streets. And while I'm homeless, then I'm gonna be up there. You gonna be up there scraping because now you finna lose. And most black landlords cannot afford to replace no $100,000.
And he's definitely right about that, and partly it's because black tenants do so much damage, like for, in cases like JP, if you run into JP, you're gonna have a lot of damage, so you're not gonna have a lot of money to do all these excess repairs. And also, if they don't pay their rent and they don't pay on time, if they do pay it. And so these are the problems within the black community, renting to them, doing business with them in general. I would imagine these same type of problems apply when you employ them. You get ready to fire them, they may sabotage the entire company. Why not? The same logic would apply.
House, $100,000 damage.
You see, this is the reason why
I won't cut the lines because it's gonna look like it was done intentionally. Let the rats chew up through that shit, or turn on the bathroom water and let the motherfuckers flow, seep and soak up the wood. And now the basement ceilings, the upstairs ceilings all right.
And see, again, this black is coming up with this off of the cuff. He's able to think of very destructive ways. But if you task this black to put his mind to something positive, constructive, he wouldn't be able to do it. He wouldn't be able to flow this freely on constructive ideas. You'll see one of the super chats comes in. It says, I feel bad for the good, honest black people of high moral character who get lumped in with JP types and the rest is 70%ers. Well, it doesn't matter if they're good, honest black people, as these guys saying they get lumped in with JP. And again, for the places where they want to rent, JP is taking some of their housing out of the supply by directly destroying the properties for no good reason. Instead of just going to find him someplace else to live and leaving the property intact, he has to destroy it on his way out when he's going. And oftentimes these people are going to motels. The bad tenant that I just had recently, he was talking about, or that I have now, he's talking about going to a motel. He's not talking about renting from anyone else. So he leaves a battlefield where he's just blown it to bits, and everyone else coming behind him, his children probably later in the future, will be hampered by his behavior and other blacks' behavior.
And shit, and then you don't let the rats. If the judge asks you, well, how did this happen? Well, based on the rats, because I was been making reports to the landlord. John is a slum landlord. This will be my, my sauce to the judge. He was a slum landlord. It got to the point, Judge. It got to the point where I had to call the buildings inspector. Me and my children, we was living with all of that rats. So why you didn't leave, Mr. JP? Because we couldn't afford it, and we didn't have nowhere else to go. And
all of this is true. This is a very real scenarios that JP's painting out that you hear all the time in inner city landlord-tenant courts with blacks making these kind of excuses.
I was buying rat traps and stuff like that, and they was eating through the ceiling and eating all the way down to the floor, and they rotted the floor.
You can see the white people shaking their head. Hafez, I don't even think he's white, but he's shaking his head. The Uncle Bill there, can't believe what he's hearing. But this is very, very true, very real behavior that JP is describing.
I'm talking about, I'm going to make it worth his while kicking me out. I'll tell you what God love.
This is the reason why people in America. I mean, sometimes you guys are very naive of the world. You were all shocked that it was almost $1 billion.
And this is the other black guy. You can look at him, overweight, drinks online all day, smoking weed. There's not a problem with that, but he has nothing interesting to offer while being on panels all day. It's the low IQ, underemployed black man.
$1 that they were,
And you can see how indignant he was. He stuck up his middle finger in the short little time he had on camera. Nothing insightful to say, just another destructive black.
Fraudulent
just in one state
in Michigan.
Just one state.
Yeah, but what I mean is, you guys were shocked how Somalis can't
they're doing this shit everywhere.
To get. Yeah, you can't. You were shocked how Somalia can simultaneously be an absolute shithole, and yet these Somalis are managed.
We have a high trust society.
Dollars from
but
America.
when you import a low trust
I can just imagine John going back to his house, and as soon he opened up his door and kicking me out, rats and popping up. They're going around his ass right.
This is what I mean. They have the ingenious brain of being able to fraudulently get out of doing things or doing terrible fraudulent criminal stuff, but they don't have this. They
motivation to do the right thing and get a job and pay their bills.
They can't actually put their mind to the positive way of getting a society.
Put like this. I will be one tenant that he'll never forget about.
And the interesting thing is that, this guy has dreams and desires of opening up a business himself, the guy with the bonnet on him. And look at how destructive he is to the people in his ecosystem that likely would support his business. This is why blacks are at the absolute bottom. Destructive by nature, a failed race.
You don't have, if you can be heartless and kicking people on the street because they fall on hard times, well, you get what you dish out. So if you dishing out heartless and being cold-hearted to people because you just want to, black men, you black yourself and a black man too, and you that cold,
JP,
you gonna get what you dish out. If you dishing out, you don't give a fuck, and that's what you gonna get.
JP, 60-70% of black people
is a bitch.
dislike white people, right? 60-70% of y'all. What percentage act like you do with this?
All of us.
There you go, all of us. But it doesn't matter if it's all, as I keep repeating. If one can do this much damage, you have to avoid all of it.
Destroy the place instead of just being a man and owning up to your failures.
It's well over 50% of them that do, because look at, as I said, look at Michigan, Dearborn, and look at all the countries that these particular mindsets emerge.
Well, no, I mean American blacks, not the light bulb head
American
Somalis.
blacks, I'll be honest, American blacks, I think there might be some kind of a DNA transference or some shit going on, because I haven't seen any real difference between an American black behaving this way than a Zimbabwean black or a Somali black or
Hey guys,
Now, if they have rats, and then here's the thing, you do use your insurance. Now, most black landlords cannot afford, they basically can't afford these properties, bro. They depends on the tenant to pay them. So,
And he's speaking the truth. Hell, if the tenant didn't pay, what landlord could afford it? But then JP goes even further. It shows you that these blacks, while they are dumb to the way of the world, they were smart at being destructive. They know how to destroy. They figured that part out. They haven't figured out how to build anything, but to destroy it. And they use the levers of the American system to their favor. This is a sight to behold.
So now let's say you do use your insurance to help refix it up. Now your rates finna go skyrocket.
I say again, this is a low IQ black, doesn't have much desire, demands of the world other than they provide his base necessities. And here he is explaining to you the consequences of his behavior. He's saying, hey, I'm going to destroy your property, take it out of the rental pool, and then I'm going to saddle you with long-term costs, with higher insurance costs. This right here is a case to not ever want to do business with black people. So if you're a white person and you're listening to this and you can't understand the inexplicable behavior of blacks, or if you're tempted to rent to a black, you never know if this black, the black that you're about to rent to, has deep down in the back of his mind this same mindset. It's not worth it. Listen to what this black is saying he'll do. You listen to what he knows about the law, and he's already quoted these things. This person, for a few months rent, because they don't live anywhere a long time, is not worth the risk. How do you identify which blacks think like him? You can't. You have to assume that they all think like him, because the hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage and stress, it's just simply not worth it to take a chance with blacks in modern day America.
Now that's gonna be triple than what you paying a month now. And then
I don't think people realize the diversity between the three.
So I think there must be some sort of it's either a historical thing or some kind of, they said just genetic memory. I've seen this across every shithole nation. This is why the globalists fear the white man so much, because you can tear all of this down, this society.
You can see some of the comments in the chat, and this is one of the guys, he's just recently unemployed, David Drencher 4585. For those of you that know him, that's Dave, I don't know his screen name, but either way it goes, he says, F your ambition, white man. Again, the white man's ambition is what allowed Dave to have employment, and now that he's unemployed, he's saying, F your ambition, white man. This is the underman crying out loud, saying, hey, if I can't participate, let's just tear it all down. If I have to be the renter, the forever renter, and when I hit a hardship, I'm out on the streets because I had low future time orientation, then, well, just tear it all down.
This civilization, this Western civilization, and the white man can build it all back up again because they built it. They did it in the first place. But the black and the brown man won't, because they can't. They haven't. If they could, you would see the examples of it. So this is why the globalists would rather flood white Western countries with the third world obedient, JPs, the benefit slaves, than to actually have more white people. Because
you see that the Dave Drencher guy, again, he writes in, we done, white man, go work your own shit. This is the mindset of the blacks. All throughout society, you can't figure out who's a JP and who's not. And at the cost that these blacks that JP has just outlined, how destructive they can be, it's not worth renting to them.
As white people, you can burn it all down and a white man will build it up again. But I guarantee you not a brown or a black man will. It will look like the same shit. You can have two towns, one with brown and black people and one with white people, and one town come back after 100 years and one of them will look exactly the same as the shithole you left 100 years ago, and the other one will be a thriving metropolis.
And Hafez did a very good job there of describing what it's like dealing with blacks. JP did a masterful job of explaining the destructive by nature of blacks. And again, so I challenge people, if you're going to rent to white black people, this is how a lot of them think. You couple that with a lot of them have ups and downs, bumps in the road, gaps in their employment, and their parents, their family members, friends. They burn so many bridges that they have no one to reach out to assist them in their time of need. So these people become very, very dangerous, like a rattlesnake when they're backed into a corner. They are not going to accept responsibility, as JP says, but they're going to spread the damage of their destructive lives. Once again, I am John Galt, the Urban Landlord, and we'll be doing a part 2 of this where JP talks more on the CT channel about what it's like renting to destructive blacks. Thanks for watching.
Nigga, you black. Some see me stranded in this land of hell, jail, and crack sales.